The PS Vita is probably the most underrated video game console of all time. Sony barely gave a damn about it, never promoted it, and it obviously failed. That doesn't mean, however, it's a bad system, and most important of all, it doesn't mean the games are bad. In fact, there's a lot of great games on the Vita, and today I'll show you my top 5 most underrated games on this amazing system. So let's begin! Number 5. Skullgirls. Developed by USA studio Reverge Labs, it's a 2D fighting game initially released almost 10 years ago. First it was digital only on the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Live service. It later received releases on modern systems, including a Windows version. When it was ported to the PS4 and the PS Vita, it was called Skullgirls Second Encore. It confused people as they believed it was a second game in the series, but it was just an enhanced port, and the best one out there in my opinion. For a time, it was a somewhat popular game, but ratings weren't that great because of its controversial art style. Some censorship issues were there that also affected its mainstream popularity. The game's plot revolves around an artifact called the Skull Heart, but if a girl with impure soul or dirty secrets wishes for it, they become Skullgirls. So it was controversial for those things, including a lawsuit, troubles with Konami, and a rebrand for the developer name. Wow, screw all that, man. This is an excellent game with great controls, awesome tag team combat, with character assists and a badass combo system. Either version you play is just as good, but I recommend either the PS4 or PS Vita ones, although physical versions of any version of this game can go for stupid prices nowadays. Number 4. Fate Extella, the Umbral Star. Currently there's 2 games in the Extella series, this one and Link. I haven't played Link yet. The Umbral Star I initially played and beat on the PS4, and it's great. I actually feel most of its popularity comes from there, mostly due to its visuals. Frame drop issues are there though, same as with the Vita version. After playing it, however, I can tell the PS4 version is superior, but only in terms of graphics. Controls and gameplay work wonders on the Vita, even though a lot of people prefer the other versions. I call this Musou Warrior style of game underrated because I think it deserves a better rating and more mainstream popularity. The story is decent enough with amazing writing no matter the character you choose. Initially though, you can only play the story mode with Saber and you can beat the game with just her if you want to, but the game encourages you to try it with its 2 other characters later on. And of course, as you make progress, you can unlock more characters, but only during battle or certain extra missions. Like I said, it's one of those Dynasty Warriors-like games where you battle through hordes of enemies and eventually a boss. The missions will have you kill specific types of enemies and bosses while defending certain areas. Don't skip on the Vita version unless you really care that much about the graphics. Number 3. Exist Archive, The Other Side of the Sky. This is one of those games that can also be considered as a hidden gem, but I believe since the announcement of Star Ocean 6 a few weeks ago, more people might find out about this game. Why? Because it was developed by Tri-Ace, creators of the Star Ocean series. This one, however, is a turn-based RPG with gameplay mechanics somewhat similar to Valkyrie Profile. A bunch of high school students suddenly die in a horrible accident. However, they are inexplicably transported to an unknown but beautiful looking planet. They must find out if they're really dead and if there's a way to get back to their world. Navigation plays completely in 2D with platforming elements like in Valkyrie Profile. You'll visit several different areas or dungeons, some including a few puzzles here and there. The battle system is played on phases. You can assign only 4 characters, each to one action button of your controller, so during the player phase, it's time to execute their attacks by pressing those buttons. During the enemy phase, if you still have action points, you can use them to press the same buttons, but now to guard and reduce damage, although your timing needs to be great here. Exist Archive is an excellent game, but also a grindfest. It doesn't matter if you play this or the PS4 version, both look absolutely amazing on either system. Number 2. Ys Origin. Ys Origin is yet another game that's pretty much in most modern systems nowadays. Physical versions are handled by limited run games usually, including the Vita one. That's where I first played this awesome action RPG. As its title implies, it is the origin of the Ys series, taking place 1,000 years before all the adult Christian games. You get to choose between two main characters, Unica and Hugo, and they both control very differently. Unica is basically the hack and slash part, as she fights with an axe in fast-paced melee combat. Hugo is technically the shooter part because he uses magic to shoot to his enemies. A third protagonist can be unlocked once you've beaten the game with both. Since the story follows an investigation in a ginormous tower where evil has spawned, it doesn't matter which character you play as first, you will still have to traverse it thoroughly, although some bosses are exclusive to each character. You can beat the game at about 10 to 12 hours with each of them, giving you a whole run of 30 to 40 hours of total gameplay. This game is brutal though, so it might not be a bad idea to start on easy, as it can still get pretty challenging on that mode. It's underrated because it's usually overshadowed by most other Ys games in the series. Despite being on multiple platforms, I don't think it's as widely recognized as it should be. Number 1. Danganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. The Danganronpa series is huge in Japan. If anything, all of their games are extremely popular, including the anime series. Overseas, they also enjoy some excellent ratings and mainstream success, but there's one particular game in the series that stands out for being different. You see, all the others are visual novels with puzzle elements. Ultra Despair Girls, however, is both a third-person shooter and a hack and slash. It also has the usual RPG elements in there, like equipping accessories, leveling up, talking to people, etc. But I mean, what action-adventure game nowadays doesn't have them? I played this excellent game on the Vita and it's one of the wackiest experiences I've ever had, but the writing, however bizarre the story might be, is superb. You follow the quest of Komaru and Toko trying to escape an apocalyptic city overrun by Monokuma robots. This game takes place after the events of the very first Danganronpa game, and it is connected as Toko comes from there and Komaru is the sister of the main character in there. You don't, however, really need to play it to understand this one. In fact, I think watching the anime might be enough. So Komaru handles the third-person shooting, fighting with a megaphone that shoots hacking bullets and various sound bullets that affect her enemies. Switching to Toko gives you the hack and slash features, but only for a limited amount of time. Overall, this is a fantastic game, very unique, with great writing and excellent soundtrack. Alright guys, those were my picks for today's video. I hope you enjoy them. Give these games a try if you can, especially on the Vita. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!